This is my current eGym biological age, which is 24. I'm currently 27, which means I have an aging rate of below 1 for average for lifetime. Now, strength, the part is kind of one of the biggest things I could not get down. So it has been 32, it has been 33, sometimes 34 even. And recently with the new machines, I was able to basically reduce a year because the new machines were just lighter to pull and push. I don't know exactly. Then we have the cardiovascular age, which has been always kind of low because I have a VO2 max of 57. My resting heart rate is also somewhat stable, and the last thing is blood pressure, which I measure daily in the morning, which is also not that bad. Then flexibility, I was surprised because I have a flexibility of 21. I have been stretching basically for years, about 10 minutes a day, and my metabolism switched to a very low value of 23, or became significantly lower after I switched the measurement method. So previously I would enter on a weekly basis. So I have to manually enter the cardiovascular values. So this would be VO2 max, this would be resting heart rate, and this would be the third one would be blood pressure. So I take the average, the yearly average of the blood pressure and the yearly average of resting heart rate, both from Garmin. So I have a Garmin Fenix 7S Pro and a Garmin Index BPM blood pressure monitor, which I use for the morning blood pressure measurement. In terms of flexibility, this is measured with a camera in my gym. So this is a device that has, or a hub it is called, and you then take a stick and you then do a hamstring stretch, you do a pec stretch, and then it basically measures the angle of how basically it measures the angle if you move the stick with your arms, for example, backwards, and then out of 5, I think, different stretches, the overall flexibility age is then calculated. And in terms of metabolism, I now have kind of the advantage that previously I used my bioimpedance scale. And it seems to be the case, at least that's kind of my leading theory, that if I have my bioimpedance scale at home, which currently shows, so I also have a Garmin scale, the Garmin Index S2, which I got mostly because I then can input, then the data is automatically transferred to Garmin, and I now have most data in Garmin, or I try to get much data in Garmin, or more data in Garmin. So my Garmin scale shows a 16% body fat, but the in-body scale that also comes with handles in the gym, it shows basically around 8% less than what my Garmin Index scale would show, which means my metabolism age has also been quite reduced from around 27 also to 23 now, which is then mostly responsible for this drop. I have to say that switching from the monthly average to the yearly average in my case was a fortunate decision. I did this only recently in terms of the cardiovascular. Now, in terms of VO2 max, I use the estimate from Garmin, and this does not give me an average readout for a given year. So I take the most recent value, which is in this case 57. So this kind of resulted all of these changes, the changes in the machines, the changes to the yearly, and in my case beneficial thing, then the introduction of the flexibility age, which seems to be calculated kind of, so each age seems to have a weight of about 1. So I took the average of all of these weights, and I resulted kind of with the same result. Of course, it is rounded up and down to then have kind of a full number. And this then resulted in the 24 years, and basically a drop from 28 to 24, which is a 4-year drop in biological age. At least according to the metrics this measures. If I then divide 24 by 27, I get the average aging rate till now, and that's in my case 0.88, which is 12% less than basically the population average of 1.0. Brian Johnson, for example, in his recent methylation test, had a biological aging rate of 0.61, I think, which is very close to 0, or 0.64, which is almost close to basically half the aging rate of the average population, or of the population average.